Hello, everyone. Welcome back to How to Trade. I'm Shane Vernier, and this is the week ahead. My apologies. We've had some technical difficulties here with the OBS actually staying connected to our YouTube channel. So it looks like we got dusted off of that first stream, but now we're back. So I hope that everybody finds us. If you're still on that other stream and you see that nothing's happening, get on over to this one. I guess that if you don't see it, then you can't take the direction. So I do want to say hi to everybody out there. Tuku, good to see you. Tuku, welcome. We're sort of have an interesting type of a stream today. Yeah, yes, sir. We got a little bit of we got some technical issues. I don't know what's going on. I'm not a technical whiz. I know how to work my charts and I know how to get orders in. I also the OBS, sometimes it connects. We haven't had that issue in a long time though. So my internet's fast. I can tell you that. I mean, it's very, very quick and nimble. So it's not an internet issue. It's an OBS issue, but we got that thing to hook up. So we should be able to broadcast here at least for the next half hour or so. If we do drop off and cut out, I'll do my best to get us up and going as soon as we can. But right now, we're just going to have to rock it and see if we're lucky enough to get through the whole stream without any technical difficulties. Back in the old days, we had a ton of technical issues. We don't have them much anymore, but that was one of them. So my apologies. I hope that we didn't shake everybody. Dave, good to see you, Dave. Welcome. This is the week ahead, so I'm going to go over a few of the big things that we're going to be looking at this week. We're also going to cover a couple of trade ideas, one in particular that was a near miss for us. It was a near miss, and it was one that I'm not real happy with, but that's okay. We had a real good Swissy trade that we still may get. And then also we're going to look at the dollar yen, the Great Britain pound yen. The yen is really going to be on the front burner here for this first big-time news event of the trading week. So this is the week ahead. I'm going to look at the big events. We're going to look at the key markets, and also we're going to also cover a couple of things in the news that are very, very important that are dictating pretty much all the price action right now. So we definitely want to be aware of what's happening around us. We want to use our eyes to see, and then we want to get in there with our money to make some more money. That's what this game's all about. Last week, wasn't the greatest week in the world. This week, it's going to be pretty good. I'm going to give you the key events and everything you need. If you have any questions at all or any markets you want to look at, go ahead and throw them in the live chat, either on YouTube or in the How to Trade trading room. If you do that, I will cover your request. I will do my best, maybe towards the end of the stream, but we will in fact get to it. So, all right, Trading Musk, good to see you. AMD, all right, Trading Musk wants to see AMD. I'm going to go ahead and cover that. We got a couple other things to get to first, but I'll definitely look at AMD stock. All right, guys, that's enough of me babbling, enough technical issues. Let's go ahead and get rocking and rolling with today's live stream. Okay. What we got this week, this is the week ahead. It's absolutely imperative that we understand what is driving price and what will drive price. Natural gas, too. All right. I'll take a look at natty gas. Today's all about Israel, Iran. We're going to cover that. Really some ominous news. There's some different things that happened over the weekend. I'm going to speculate a bit, but it's things that I've heard, and I think that they make perfect sense. Whether they come to fruition or not, I don't know. I'm not a geopolitical whiz, but I do know this. There are sides lining up in the Israel-Iran war, and it is a war. It's been declared. So people are choosing sides. And when countries choose sides, that means escalation. We are watching that situation very, very closely. If anybody's seen the video out of that region, or if you are in that region, then I don't have to tell you how serious it is. Really a lot of missile strikes, a lot of drone strikes, a lot of things going on there. So let me see. Angelique, USO, all right. Or US Oil or USO? I'm not sure what USO is. A USO show? That's old school. That's what they did for the Army guys overseas. Second thing we got to look at is going to be the BOJ interest rate decision. Now, that's going to be for Tuesday's forex session. It's going to be during the U.S. overnight. So it's going to be probably late night for me. I'm going to go ahead and take a look at the BOJ. That's going to be our key event that we're going to break down for today. Wednesday's all about the Fed. It's going to be the federal interest rate, the FOMC decision, the Fed's interest rate decision. We expect interest rates to stand firm. I'm going to have all the coverage for you, FOMC Live. Be sure to tune into that 10 minutes before Jay Powell's presser, which is going to be at about 2:30 p.m. Eastern. So I always love those. I like making fun of Jay. It's fun. He doesn't like me. He doesn't know me. He doesn't know me, but he doesn't like me. But I'm more than happy to tell you guys exactly how it is, and I'll tell you exactly what I think and what the truth is when he starts talking about that Fed, when he starts talking about interest rates and what exactly the Fed's thinking about doing. So we're going to do that as well. Thursday, BOE and SNB. Now, this is going to be our switch market stream. So if you're watching me on YouTube right now, if you're watching this stream on any of the YouTube channels, Forex Signals or How to Trade, I'm going to be over on Switch Markets, the Switch Markets YouTube channel. So if you want to see that one, check it out. Or you can see us in the How to Trade trading room. And then Friday is going to be the Philadelphia Fed. More of a no donation Friday. But I have to tell you, we haven't had a dull Friday since Trump's been in office. So you definitely want to take a peek at that. All right, we got a whole list of markets. I've got a few I'm going to cover cover, but I'll hit each and every one of these. We got AMD, natural gas, U.S. oil, and then we've got Great Britain pound USD forecast. Yeah, we'll go ahead and look at that one. That's going to be our pick of the week. If you are our Switch Markets client, then you will be getting our newsletter, which will get beamed out to you tomorrow. And the Great Britain pound USD, I'm going to make a video and really break down what I think is going to happen there. Hey, Shane, I hope it's going to be a successful week. We'll drill Dre Day every day. Yeah, it's going to be a pretty good week. I think last week was a challenge just because of the news cycle really shook us up in the oil market, but that's okay. That's to be expected. This week's going to be pretty good. We're going to watch the central bankers closely. We're going to watch central bankers closely. Trading Must Platinum. Boy, I haven't looked at platinum in a long time. Sounds good. Let me see. Queen B Roblox. Hello from Afghanistan. Welcome, Queen B. Truly global audience here. We've got people weighing in from all over the globe. So if you're in Afghanistan, I hope it's a sunny day. I hope you're getting decent weather and you're having a decent time with it. I know a lot of the regions are really, really challenged. A lot here in the United States. I mean, we saw folks in LA, pretty much every big city over the weekend. There was some form of violence. So there's a lot going on there. So welcome from Afghanistan as well. NTC, all right, Musk, I'm not going to do all of these, but I'm going to go ahead and give it a shot. Yes, sir, US dollar, Japanese yen at some point, please. That's actually what we're going to start with. Hello from Ghana. All right, Daniel, welcome. So that's going to go ahead and be what we've got on tap for this week. Nigeria, welcome. What a global audience. Thank you for joining me, everybody. I know I talk fast. I'm a fast-talking American, but that's okay. You guys can watch the stream again, and if you have any questions at all, be sure to reach out and ask, and I'll do my best. Jamaica, David from Jamaica. I've never been to Jamaica. I had a couple friends down in Jamaica, though. No kidding. All right, here we go. Monday Psychology. Today, our primary objective is to game plan. We want to be ready for the week ahead. We don't want to lose a bunch of money on a Monday. One of the worst things you can do is lose a bunch of money on a Monday and spend the rest of the week trying to dig out of the hole that you dug on Monday. Monday is when we start our momentum, so we're looking to take small profits. We're looking to limit our risk. I would much rather take my risks Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You guys know that if you've been watching any of my streams. But for today, just a good psychology lesson. Let's go ahead and just get started with some easy trades and maybe look at a few opportunities we'll have later this week. This is a good look at trade follow-up here. This is one that we put out last week. PPI, USD plummets, and then we had a nice little level out down there at about 80.45 in the dollar Swissy. Now, we didn't quite get our entry. You can see right there what happened on Friday. We came off big, went to about 56. Since then, we've bounced up roughly 70 pips. I still like this zone. I still like this area right around 2025's low. To be real honest with you, I think we called this correctly. We just didn't really get our entry point. So this is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a little bit of chop right around 2025's low down there at 80.39. Our entry is about 80.45. You can do whatever you want here. You can go 80.45 if you want to wait for price to come down to that level and then go, or you can wait for a penetration of 39. You could wait for 80.39 itself. This is what I would call a proximity test. That means the price went right down to our level, hit it, bounced off, and now we sort of like, we just missed our entry. What do? Do I still shade this thing 6 pips, or do I wait for the 39? I'm not going to be that fine with it. I'm going to go at 45, and we're going to see if we can get this trade, but I like what's happening here, guys. I love it. Doji, big sell-off Doji. We're going to get a nice little creeper there and an opportunity maybe to trade a rotational Swissy from a key level, and that's going to put us in a fantastic position to make a few pips. So we definitely want to do that. Okay, our key fundamental of the day that I do want to start with because it keys into our dollar yen. We're going to cover the yen first, and then I'll get to all those markets that you guys want to see covered. The yen's going to be a big deal here in the next 24 hours. So when we look, a stream called the week ahead, we need to be looking ahead. So we need to set our levels up. We need to know the key events, and we need to be able to trade those. That symbiosis, that dynamic between the key events and the key levels. Man, I'm a hybrid trader, and what a hybrid trader is I look for the key events that are going to move the markets, and then I fall back on my technicals for trade location, and then we sit back and we pull the money out of the market. That's the idea. That's my mindset. Each and every Monday, I want to know what's going to move the markets, and I want to know what my technicals tell me to do. That's it. If I know those things, then I'm going to be in great shape. So we're going to go ahead and break down probably the biggest event you're going to see in the first 24 hours of this, probably 36 hours of this trading week. So what do we have here? We've got the BOJ monetary policy statement. Now, the BOJ, the Bank of Japan, is notoriously dovish. They do what they play a dirty float. They like to devalue the yen to make their exports hyper-competitive abroad. And that's absolutely a fantastic idea, especially if you're an island nation like Japan is. You want to be able to sell whatever you're building in Japan abroad, and you want to have a competitive advantage over a lot of the other nations. And the way that you can do that is to promote really a devalued domestic currency. So the BOJ typically holds a negative deposit rate, and they have no problem printing a lot of yen and putting them in the system. So the idea here that the BOJ has been doing since 2012, and realistically, it went back to 2001, but in 2012, the idea really came on, and it was called Abenomics. 3 prongs to it. Number 1, dovish Bank of Japan policy. Put a lot of yen in the system. Number 2, make those exports hyper competitive abroad. And what that would do is lead to number 3, which was foreign direct investiture. All that foreign money would get invested into Japan and grow the economy from the inside out. Believe it or not, those tenets are very similar to what Donald Trump's talking about here in the United States. Very similar. Shinzo Abe was the founder of that, made it popular. He was assassinated 2 years ago, was shot with a makeshift shotgun that was built out of a lead pipe. Unbelievable. Really unbelievable stuff. So when we talk about the BOJ, we immediately think dovish policy and we think dovish yen. Well, that's changed. And coming out of COVID, there was such tremendous debt in Japan. And also, really, the yen was at an absolute free fall. They want a devalued yen, but they don't want a worthless yen. So what they had to do is they had to raise interest rates to a positive level. So right there, the BOJ interest rate decision was about 0.5. That's about as high as it's been. Well, I'm going to show you. It's as high as it's been in a long, long time. And we're expecting them to hold the rate steady. That's pretty hawkish. I mean, that's pretty much a hawkish precursor there for the yen. So theoretically, that's going to send maybe your dollar yen down. It's going to send your Great Britain pound yen down as well. We're going to look at the technicals there. The BOJ is one of the biggies. I mean, when they speak, they get incredible volatility out of the yen. So I would be very careful with this engagement this evening. I would be this evening my time. Maybe it's tomorrow for you. But what I'm saying is be very careful around this. This can shake things up, and this can take all your money very quickly if you're the wrong way. So the BOJ speaks. It's a big deal. You'll notice right here, we were at about negative 0.10% for a long, long time. And then we just sort of ratcheted up, and we've been going up steadily. And that's to try to put a cap or really stop the bleeding in what the yen has really shown us for a long, long time. And that's been weakness. Now, monthly chart, U.S. dollar, Japanese yen. I got asked this question last week. Shane, what's your key level there? I love this space right in here. I got a Bollinger midpoint at 146.46, and then I've also got 38% right up there around 147. So if I'm looking to trade, I definitely want that short somewhere between 146.50 and 147. That's a pretty darn good shorting area. Now, do we get there? You said, Shane, if they hold rates static, that's probably going to send this pair down a little bit. And I would say, yeah, it more than likely will. So if we don't get a nice big spike up here and get our chance to sell, how can we really trade it? Well, you'll notice right here just exactly how tight it's been for June. Tight. And we're in the 16th day of June already. I mean, June's clicking by very quickly. That's a very, very tight monthly range. So if I'm taking a good gander at this, I'm looking for key levels. Don't forget last month's low. Potential breakout zone beneath that area, that's 142.11. I'll be watching 142 closely. Potentially, you could get a breakout beneath that level. But moreover, how do we trade it right now? Well, we're going to pull up a daily chart, and I'm going to show you how it's really not much help. There's your daily. Very difficult to trade, guys. Nice big spike high, then we were just compression, then we got a breakout, compression, break, and then we're just sort of moving sideways. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. I really do. But I think you're making a big mistake trying to pick a direction in this market right now. What I would do is wait for disequilibrium. I would wait for the breakout maybe up here to where we could sell with a little bit of confidence up there 146.50-ish. But down here, maybe play a breakout beneath last month's low somewhere right in there. You could probably build that trade as well. I don't have a problem with that. Big picture, this is no man's land. I would stay completely out of this. If you want to go to a real tight time frame, even the 4-hour chart, guys, it just isn't there. It just isn't there. I would be very careful with what I'm doing here. If in fact you wanted to pick a direction, remember it's impossible to know how the market's going to react after a central bank gets involved. It's tough. Dre, I'm sorry, Dre. I don't understand the language. I barely speak English as it is. So I'm sorry. You'll have to translate it for me. That's just sort of the way it is. In any case, that's what I'm looking at for the dollar yen, Great Britain pound, Japanese yen, and then we'll get on to some of the markets that you guys asked me about. Daily chart. Now, this is interesting to me because it really is. It's no man's land as well. Basically, it's just an inverted chart of what we saw with the dollar yen. But what you're seeing, excuse me, boy, a lot of pollen here, a lot of pollen. All the trees are in bloom. So my apologies. I don't have a cough button, or else I could have muted that sneeze, but it was a good one. In any case, Great Britain pound, Japanese yen. We've been bullish on this for a long time, really going back to, going way back to last fall even. What I would be looking at right now on the daily is a little bit different situation than the dollar yen. This one right here, you're starting to see a bit of a breakout trend going. Now you're only up plus 2.9%, so it's not a trend, but there is an area here where we can see potentially a breakout. What do you have right here? You got a daily triple top. There's no question about that. So you go right back there to the 14th of May. That's going to probably represent May's high. Yeah, it represents May's high. So your high right there is going to be 196.41. The high right there is going to be 196.32, and the high right there is going to be 196.45. So you have a bona fide triple top right there on the daily that's spread out over about the past month. So when we look at a chart like this, the first thing I'm thinking is, okay, there's significant resistance up there right around 196.50-ish. 196 and a quarter to 196.50. The sellers have dug in each and every time. So there's a couple of ways that we could play it. Number one, we could step up and we could look to sell this market when we get right to this triple top area and play the short. I don't particularly care for that, especially going into a big-time news release. What I would be looking to do here, just strategically, is I would be looking for a break up above that triple top. Bang, bang, bang. I'm looking for a breakout and then a pullback and then an opportunity to get long. Very simple. I'm looking for a break and then a pullback. So for me, this would be a no-fly zone. I wouldn't be trading this market just yet. I would wait until after the BOJ speaks, and if we do, in fact, get that bullish break, then we'll have a chance to buy in and get into this market as it rallies. Now, the question is okay, Shane, where could it possibly go? And I say, well, that's tough. I mean, in order to really figure out what could possibly happen, you've got to go to a monthly chart. And this area right in here should scare everybody. Sellers stepped in right around that 200 area. Sellers, bang. And now it looks like we're on our way back up there. So if we do break above May's high, which represents our triple top there, our daily triple top, if we break above that, I'm in full buy mode, and I think you could play that bid probably all the way up to that probably at 200 level, something like that, maybe 199.75-ish to 200. I think you more than likely are going to get that check. But see these tails right here, though? That tells us there's sellers in there each and every time we've sort of made a run at 200. We've had a lid put on this market. Looks to me like the breakout could be right there, and it may, in fact, be on the back of some dovish talk out of the Bank of Japan. So you definitely want to do that. Let me see. Dre, 995. It's fine, boss. You're doing a great job. Well, thank you very much. I sure appreciate that. Thank you for translating. I just don't know. I'm like I said, I barely speak English, and I'm not really a language major. That's the only language I speak. And it's funny, some of the folks that I work with here, our video editor, I mean, he speaks like 5 languages. And I go, wow, how do you do that? I mean, I know how to read charts and I can speak markets, but I don't know how to speak all the languages that you guys do. So I'm definitely jealous if you're bi or trilingual. That's for sure. Okay, we've got a few things to look at here. We got some great questions. I just wanted to cover those yen right out of the gate and that dollar Swissy. I think that's a fantastic area where we may be able to attack a bit later on. Okay, I'm going to look at these markets sort of according to my own system, the Fibonacci counterpunch, which is how I trade, what I do. Okay, right here, a daily chart for AMD. Interesting stuff, absolutely interesting stuff. One of the things that, what I do typically is just based on seeing a move and then buying a pullback or selling a pullback. You can also look for value areas in historical pricing data. But this right here, this might actually be better suited to take a look at our coded 920. So let's go ahead and my layout here, and let's go coded 920. There's our coded 920. Let's go ahead and throw AMD on there. We were looking at Boeing last week, if you remember right. Boeing was definitely a challenge after the plane crash, but it looks like price has definitely bounced back just a little bit. Let's go ahead with the big chip maker AMD. A lot of people have AMD chips now. I'm still an Intel guy. That's just my own prerogative. So if we are looking at that coded crossover right there, would have been your bid. We would have been bidding this back at about 99.23. Full disclosure, guys, I really like the 920 on the daily time frame crossover trading stocks. I think it's about as powerful as anything I've seen in a long time. They're not all winners, but boy, I mean, take a good look at this. There's your 920 cross. There's your bid right there at 99.25, and you've just got a beautiful $27 rally. I mean, that's 27%. Remember, venture capitalists would give their children away for 7% annually, and you're looking at about 27% on that trade. That's beautiful. That's a beautiful thing. So fascinating stuff there out of AMD. Really, I like that nice big rally today. You're already in the bid situation, though. So all you could really do here is probably look to buy pullbacks. I would be a buyer. I wouldn't be a seller. But you definitely, where would resistance potentially be in this market? You go right to the monthly. You'll notice you got to sell on the monthly there. I don't believe in doing monthlies on this. I would stick with the daily, guys. I would stick with the daily. Maybe your top side target's 136-ish. I mean, you've broken over 50%. You're above that 20-period EMA. That could definitely go. I would be watching 136.57 very, very, very closely. So there's a good look at AMD. Natural gas is the next one up. Let's go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and give you my personal opinion on natural gas because this counterpunch system really does lend itself well to commodity trading. That's my specialties, commodities. I trade gold and crude oil. As far as a macro picture of what natty gas has been doing, this is a Fibonacci sequence that I put out months ago. I really did, or earlier this year, and we called the top of this market beautifully, right around 4.8. So there's a couple things that I would be careful with here with natural gas. Number one is seasonality. Now, typically we see sellers enter the market during the summertime months here in the United States or in the Northern Hemisphere, and the idea there is you're not going to use as much natural gas for heating purposes. That's not necessarily true anymore because there's a ton of natural gas that gets used for air conditioning purposes and also AI. So right now, I would say, am I bullish or bearish natural gas? I'm neither. I would love just to sell the top of this again. I would definitely have 4.7 on my radar somewhere. That's a huge level. I'd be looking to sell that. As far as am I buying or selling right now today, we can take it right down to real short time frames. Look at a daily first and see if there's really anything there. You got a gap up right here. That's a war play. I mean, it really is. That's a war play. That's Israel, Iran. That's different. That's a lot of saber rattling out of China. We're going to talk about that in a minute too. And let's see, Pakistan. That's why your natural gas spiked today. There was no question that we were going to see some action in the commodities over the weekend. That is prima facie evidence of exactly why. Now, remember, if you want to trade any of these things, check out switchmarkets.com. Switch Markets community can get you up and running with all your favorite commodities and stock CFDs. Also, you can trade all the forex majors and pretty much anything you want. Thousands of markets available, huge leverage available. If you're an international client, highly recommend Switch Markets. But this right here is a product of your war. You see right here, fourth day of the Israel-Iran conflict. We don't have a peace deal yet. In fact, things are intensifying. And when things intensify, you see the same reaction out of commodities almost every time, especially energies, natural gas, crude oil. These things all spike. So right there, you're up about 358. What is that, about 4.3% today? This doesn't qualify as a gap to me. A lot of folks believe that that's going to be a gap. It's not. You traded those levels last week. That's not a gap. But what would I be looking to do right here? I want to buy it. If we get a pullback zone, maybe 347, 350, that might be a pretty darn good area to take a shot to the long side. The world is devolving into war. And if we haven't learned anything since the Russian invasion of Ukraine, war means higher natural gas prices. Now, not necessarily forever. We saw natural gas absolutely spike, and then Putin nailed the price of natural gas to rubles, said if you're going to buy a gas from us, you're doing it in rubles. And then we had a bunch of sanctions and just an absolute mess that took natural gas from about 10 down to 2. So it's not like prices are going to stay high forever in this situation. But right now, yeah, you got to be bullish. If, in fact, you do get a pullback, 347 is beautiful if you want to be patient. I mean, probably the best buy on the board for me would be something like this. Right down in there, we've got a 13-period. We've got a 13-period EMA, 13-day EMA right there. I've also got my Bollinger midpoint. I've got 62%, the back end of that golden zone. That's probably, that's the play where you pull the hundreds out. You don't play the 50s. So that would be a pretty good trade in my view. 347, though, at 38%. Probably are going to get a test of that. Not later today, but maybe tomorrow, maybe the next day. That's a pretty good bid as well. So that's how I would be looking at natural gas. All right, U.S. oil, absolutely. U.S. oil is my specialty. I took some lumps last week on U.S. oil. This is absolutely chaotic. Absolutely chaotic. Now, you remember our yearly high was right up around 80.73, and we thought that maybe, the Israelis started bombing Iran, we would get a shot at that. I certainly did. I was sitting there, I was watching price action, 77.57. I was watching the big rally, and I said, yeah, this could definitely develop for us. This could come into play in a big, big way. It didn't. We went right up to about 77.50. It was a little bit higher than that in the futures contract, but it came off. Now, since then, today, it's just been a murder show as far as the bulls are concerned. You're off about, negative 4.4%. The, blood red screen, we're down to about 69, 70, 74, somewhere in there. The point is this. This right here basically took back all of these gains. It shows how artificial these moves really are. If you don't know exactly when they're going to happen, it's incredibly difficult to trade. But if you came back off, now what's happening? What's happening? I know it's not really a rhetorical question. I'm going to give you a second to think about what's happening in this market. Huge spike, big sell-off, now what? Okay, now we're bouncing. What's the big number? 70. Always remember this, guys. If I get taken off the air, if YouTube decides they're going to get rid of me, if for whatever reason I don't show up for work or whatever happens, when a market does not know what to do, when there is a huge amount of news, when things are in absolute chaos, it seeks a level. Now, what provides that level is buyers and sellers. What happens? Big round numbers, intuitive levels. Does the world have an opinion on crude oil at $68? Some people stepped in today and said, yeah, that's oversold. I want it at 70. Why 70? It's just a big round number. That's all it is. It's somebody wrote something down. It's just a scribble, basically, but it has added importance because we think in linear terms. We think, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5, 10, 15, 20, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Right now, the traders have an opinion on crude oil at 70. There's some people that believe if it's under 70, it's a bid. If it's over 70, it's a sell. But it looks to me like this market's seeking its level at about 70. That's called an area of fair value. That means you believe you have an opinion at 70 and I have an opinion at 70. And what usually happens is the market goes sideways right around these zones, at least for a while. That's exactly what we're seeing today. A nice big pull back and then a bounce. Watch 70 closely. Now, if you're trading this on an intraday time frame, which I know most of you are, you want to get in there and take a look at price action right now so you can make a trade. 7:30 a.m. opening bell, ding ding. The thing is the opening bell typically for WTI crude oil is right in there, right about 7 a.m. my time, so about 9 a.m. Eastern, right before that 9:30 a.m. Eastern kickoff there for your equities. Here's what I would be looking at. I would forget the rest of the selling today. If I was trading this type of in this type of an environment, this is what I'd be looking at. You'd say, okay, Shane, what do you mean? Well, take a look at what happened. We opened gap up. That was a majority of your gains. And then you got a big rally right up here to 75. Still don't believe me about key numbers? We went up, checked out 75, and then bang, we went down, checked out the area below 70. Now we're coming back to 70. Do we go up to 75 or do we just sort of mill around 70? I would be looking at the U.S. range right now. That would be my guide. And I'd say, okay, what's going on here? Volume's in the market. This pricing area is key. I think this spike high right up there, 70, 79. You could probably scalp 70, 75s to the short a little bit later on today if you get it. You got about another hour of premium WTI crude oil trading before the volume really dries up and it gets sketchy. But right there, that's going to be a pretty good trade. Probably look to sell 70, 75s towards the end of the session, which would be about 2:30 p.m. Eastern. That's pretty much the end of WTI, and then it gets real thin after that. Right now, though, you can see that the pronounced low down about 67.82. I expect this market just to mill sideways. I would love to sell right up there. I would even bid it. I would love to bid, but we're just not going to move $2. If I had to bet, I think we settle between 70 and 70 and a quarter. I think we settle above 70 today. It's my own opinion. Great question, though, Angeli. U.S. oil. You're absolutely welcome. Great Britain Pound USD forecast. Yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at it. Now, this is going to be our pick of the week on our Switch Markets newsletter. So if you are a client, you should get that beamed out, and I'll make a video for you so you can take a look at your key levels. Now, that's a 30-minute chart. Let's go ahead and just take a good look at what's going on with the Great Britain Pound. It's a trend. I mean, it's a trend. There's no question about it. Let's get rid of that analytics right there. But you can see this is just a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You've got basically a 5-month winning streak here ever since the beginning of the year, really 1 January. Since then, so a little bit of a sell-off in January, and then it's been all about the pound. So the question now becomes, what do I want to do? This is a trend. This is a clear-cut long-term trend. What I would be looking at doing is buying pullbacks. Any significant pullbacks, I would be bidding it. I have no qualms about taking the pound sterling against the dollar. The problem we're going to have is, how do we find any sort of trade location in such a flat dynamic? That's what makes it tough. That's really what makes it tough. So we can use a daily chart. You'll see Friday's dailies sort of traded above and then below, and now we're sort of trading inside. It's really difficult to trade this type of environment, at least directionally. However, if I want to make my mistakes to the long side of the market, we can just keep taking our time frames down. Spike low. Spike high. You got about a 16-hour range going back to the 15th of June. So that would be yesterday. That would be right on Sunday's open. Theoretically, if you want to trade the Great Britain Pound USD, there's your 4-hour orb. Now there's 3, there's 30. Okay, right there. So your 4-hour orb, I hate doing this in retrospect, but it's just the way it works. Right there would have been your two bars. So this would have been your orb. That opening 8 hours. Life's looking pretty good, isn't it? Bought in at 135.79. Now you're up about 20 points. That's not bad. How would I look to do it? I would say, okay, you got a bullish breakout on your orb. Spike low, spike high, pull back. Probably be looking to bid something like a 135.90, something like that. Maybe play for 25 pips. Sort of, I wouldn't say it's dicey, but definitely a rotational market thus far. We haven't got the big move out of the Great Britain pound. And with those central bankers poised to talk later this week, could be a real flat ride until then. But I think you could probably grind what we would call an accumulation trade. You're just looking to get good trade location to the long and waiting for those bidders to come bail you out. Something like that could be pretty tasty. So I'd be watching that closely. That level right down around 135.90, somewhere right down in there. Okay, let's see. That'll be do it for the Great Britain pound. Let's see platinum. All right, platinum. USD, JPY, we already did that one. Can you check gold? Okay, we're going to go platinum and gold, and then that's a wrap. We're just going to pick one of these. Honestly, I'm not a platinum trader. I know there's several on YouTube. There's one young lady that I watch all the time. She's an interesting gal, trades platinum. Supposedly makes a fortune doing it. I don't know if I believe that, but definitely interesting type of trader. She trades trend lines, and apparently is pretty successful doing it. I don't know, but here's how I would trade platinum if I was trading it. You got a nice situation right here. You got really a beautiful, absolute 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, a little bit of a pullback. So you got about, what, a 9-dayer there with a little bit of an inverted hammer, but really a beautiful run. You do something like this easily. Okay. So we didn't quite get the pullback to about 1,200, 1,206. That would be a pretty good area where I would be looking to go. Probably fire your guns from there. You'd want to join the bid right down around 38%. If you wanted to do 50% here, I'm not a 50% trader. I don't believe in it, but I've got my 13-day EMA down there, 1178, and I've also got 50% level at 1176. So that's clearly a bid. I mean, that was what I would call a kill zone. Those are converging indicators. You got an EMA, you got a Fibonacci level. You can do business right there. That's all there is to it. So I'd be looking to bid right there. That's called confirmation. Or the back end of the golden zone is always beautiful for me. I don't need confirmation for that. Or you could wait for a deeper pullback. This right here probably is the play that you want. I just don't know that we're going to get it. You saw we sort of went to a proximity, and now we're up about 2.75%. That's a nice rally. That's a nice rally. So I'll be watching this swing high closely. I mean, a very clearly defined wave. We can do business on this, really, this wave right here. As long as this swing high stays intact, we can do business using this set of levels for the rest of the week. So that'd be something that I would consider maybe committing a little bit of time to, studying the platinum market, if in fact you're a platinum or metals trader. Okay, last market right here. Let's go with gold. It's not a party without gold. You can see what exactly is developing here, and I'll figure out how to use this platform one of these days. Okay, there's May's high. Now, what exactly has happened here? We went up above May's high, and now we've pulled back. But you can see that we're still in pretty good bullish territory. Gold's off about, let's see, 1.13%. You can see that gold and crude oil all of a sudden have a strong correlation due to those geopolitical issues. We're talking about World War III here. That's what we're talking about. We're starting to see nations pick sides, where we saw Pakistan. I'm going to cover this more tomorrow when I know more about it. But Pakistan said that they were going to back Iran potentially. And then you had China stepping in, making some statements. So there's really a lot going on here. And this is one of those things that the initial reaction from gold and crude oil was incredibly bullish, and now it's coming down. And that's because the market reacted in a huge way, and now we're starting to catch our second wind. We're starting to get used to the news cycle. And as long as we're used to something, that means that the uncertainty isn't necessarily a killer, meaning it doesn't drive price to incredible levels. It's going to sort of settle down to that area of fair value that we just talked about at $70 for crude oil. So this right here, I'm still really an over. I wouldn't say a bullish cheerleader for gold, but I'm definitely believe that we're going to 3,500 again. There's no question. We played above. We got a great break above last month's high. May's high was right there at 34.35. We broke right up there to 34.46, and then we went up and checked out 34.51. Seller stepped in. Now we're right down around 38%. If in fact you wanted to go long right now, I wouldn't blame you for it. 38% right there. We could pull our trading panel and just throw this one down and check on and see how it did tomorrow. But something like this, all right, let's go ahead and buy it. We'll buy the market right here. Now let's say we just executed that trade for real. And these are demo dollars and all that. We just bought in. Now, is my trade location good? It's decent. It ain't great, but it's right there at about 33.95. Our 38% level, really our money zone's down there at 33.89. Had we bought 33.89, I'd already be out of this sipping Mai Tais. Or I'd be drinking martinis. I mean, it would already be over, but it's not over for us because why? We got here late to the party. Is our trade right or wrong? It's sloppy. It's not the best trade in the world. It's sloppy, but we have a key support zone and we also have a stop out zone. If you take that trade, you probably need to weather the storm for the next couple of hours, get out of today's session. If we get out of today's session, you're going to have a fantastic chance to make some money, probably right up in here tomorrow. But your stop out, it's got to be somewhere right beneath the daily low. So like if you took that intraday, you'd be looking at your 30-minute chart going, okay, where's my stop loss have to be? It's got to be right down there. So does that make it a great trade? No, it doesn't. It makes it sloppy, but you could take it. It's not the end of the world if you took it. You see this nice big sweep low right there, opening bell, ding, ding. Gold comes off in a big way. Stocks get some bids. Still sort of a throwaway day. Not much is happening here. I would fully expect gold to sort of trade this way the rest of the day. I do believe tomorrow you're probably going to get a nice push to the bull. That's just the way that this market dynamic seems to be shaping up. I mean, really, let's just use some common sense here. And it's easier for me to do because I've looked at, seriously, I have my 10,000 hours in front of this stuff. So when I look at market action like this, I say, okay, what happened? Big bullish run, okay, war escalation. Everybody buys gold. That's easy. We all know that. And then what? Peaked above yesterday's high, checked out a key level. What's the key level? 34.50. Seller stepped in, hammered this market. They knocked out all the retail longs. And now we're sitting around going, well, where does the market go now? And I would say, well, we already bounced off of 38%. Pretty good trade down there. Is it right to take the long right now? It's riskier. A better trade's to wait and try 33.89 again, but we don't have that kind of time. So I'm going to throw that down. We're going to see how that goes because the idea here is very simple. Initial reactions, bullish. War, chaos. Correction. Things start settling down. People start talking peace. Reaction. I think the area of fair value is right in here. And by taking a long towards the bottom of this range, we have a chance maybe to capitalize on that. However, it ain't cheap. You can see we're already getting hit. Market's coming off a bit since we entered. And remember, these are demo dollars. You've got to use your own leverage. We've given that speech about 1 million times. All right, everybody, I'm going to go ahead and sign off here for a few hours. Remember, we're going to be every day this week in the How to Trade trading room going live. We have a Switch Markets a live stream on Thursday. So on Thursday's live stream, if you're watching us on How to Trade or Forex Signals TV, be sure to head on over to Switch Markets TV and check us out there. Let's see right here. One last question that I'm going to go ahead and check out or comment. Let me see, Bart. Good to see you, Bart. Trend trading on a daily chart is a struggle. I can only trade for an hour each day for an hour around the London 10 a.m. because of time zones in New Zealand and work commitments. It's a great point, Bart. It's a great point because my days are pretty crazy. A lot of people say, they think that, Shane, you sit in front of the computer all day long and you look for opportunities and you have that kind of time, and that's simply not true. I do many things. I wear many hats during the day, but I've designed my trading day to really be between 6:30 a.m. my time and about 9:30 a.m. Now, typically the biggest success that I've ever had has been in those 3 hours. When things are going my way, they go my way early and often. Now, I completely understand for traders that don't have much time to trade, and that's why I would really recommend swing trading. Sit down, find your key levels. This gold's a great example. We're long right here. We're getting hit. That's fine, but you could easily show up on a, I don't know, Sunday evening maybe. My time, it would be Sunday. I'm not sure what it would be in New Zealand, Bart, but you could show up and say, okay, I love this wave. Where would I look to buy this week? Right there, and right there. And that could be as easy as just having a trading viewer and MT5 alerts on your phone and seeing those. And that doesn't take much time at all. But it's a swing trading approach. But if you're realistically, if you have an hour a day to trade and you're talking about trading, 30-minute charts or 5-minute charts, that's going to be really difficult. So Bart, if that's the only time you have, and another thing, that's great. That means that you're working, you're doing things, you got money coming in. Remember, the average millionaire has about 6 income streams. So I would want everybody here to just look at the markets as being an income stream. It's just an income stream. It's a way to get money coming in. Supplement your income with it. You don't have to just sit down and make a living purely on trading. You can supplement your income. Now, how you do that's up to you. But if I was working, 40 or 50 hour week and I only had, X amount of time, maybe an hour to trade, I'd be swing trading. No question about it. Mary Coons, how can I recover my stolen funds? Who stole them? That would be the first thing I would try to figure out. If you got caught up with a broker that is nefarious, the first thing you have to do is you have to go to a regulatory authority in your municipality. So I don't really know where you're at, Mary, but if you had a broker steal it or a broker walk off with it, then you absolutely have to go to the regulatory authorities. You have to report it and potentially join a class action lawsuit. Believe me, if they stole yours, then they probably stole someone's else. Yeah, there you go, Bart. That's why I trade the daily. And the other thing I would say, Mary, if you lost your stolen funds to an individual, you got to alert the authorities. You got to go right to the police and say, hey, I got scammed. Somebody scammed my money. They took my money from me. Here's what happened to me. And what they'll do is they'll start cross-referencing other cases from other places, and maybe you can triangulate on who's the perpetrator. Short story here, and then I'm going to sign off about how can I recover stolen funds. I've been in this game a long time, and I learned a long time ago that I don't trust much of anybody with my money. Money makes everything different. You could be great friends with somebody, you could be married to somebody, you could do whatever. Money makes everything different, and you always have to protect yourself. A couple of tips. Remember, if you're contacted on your cell phone, somebody sends you a text with a link that's related to your banking, you never click the link. If you get an alert on your phone that says you just spent $2,000 online, bought an Apple computer or something, and it looks phony to you, and then there's a number to call or a link to click so you can try to stop the transaction, you don't do it. You call your bank. You call your bank. You call your bank. You don't click links. You don't call numbers when you're solicited. You are always in control. That's number one. Number two, a few years back, when I was living over in Utah, I was actually targeted by crypto thieves. And what had happened was I was using crypto. I was several different things, and I was wiring crypto around. And I had a special bank account that I would go through my Coinbase exchange. I would go through my Coinbase accounts and then use that exchange to buy crypto and send it and to trade it and do all the different things that people do with crypto. Well, I got ripped off. Somebody somewhere got into my account, They said, okay, this guy's going to have $1,200 coming in now. So we're going to go ahead. As soon as my transfer was done, they took the money immediately, and then they tried to tap into my bank account to buy more. Now, I was very fortunate. I immediately drove to my bank and had them write up a fraudulent report and stop all the transfers. Because why? I couldn't call them. They've ported my phone. My phone was ported. I went to use my phone. I couldn't use it. It was ported. I was getting emails from these hackers taunting me, telling me you better give us more money or we're going to delete everything on your computer and stuff like that. I was lucky. I went to the bank immediately and I told them to stop all the transactions. If you fall prey to any of that, contact your bank. You contact your bank directly. You don't click links. You don't call numbers. Believe me. It saved my bacon. It saved me a couple of grand by the end of it. So I was very lucky, very fortunate. But what I did that was smart, my Coinbase or my brokerage accounts, my Coinbase brokerage account, it was hooked on to what I would call a dummy account. I made a bank account that was just for that. And it didn't have overdraft protection or nothing. Whatever money was in there was the only money that was exposed to the Coinbase account. I highly recommend that. Don't just link them to your checking account. You don't want them to have access to all your stuff. Unfortunately, cyber theft is really a bad thing. And the people that are targeted are typically folks that don't know much about technology. And another thing, the hackers and the criminals are so sophisticated that you can't stay ahead of them. All you can do is protect yourself, firewalls, passwords, all of it, because it's really a challenge, guys. But they typically target seniors. I've seen a lot of senior citizens targeted in my area, and it's pretty despicable. I don't know if you guys saw the movie The Beekeeper with Jason Statham. That's very real. Those things happen. Not the beekeeper, but the call centers and the fraud. Be very careful, guys. Be very careful out there. All right, let me see. Okay, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. Gone way too long. You guys have a fantastic trading session. I'm going to be back tomorrow. We're going to look at the 5-8-13 scalping workshop. It ought to be a lot of fun. 5-8-13 is one of our more popular strategies out on How to Trade Calm YouTube. Check it out. I think it's going to be pretty good. Right now, I'm sort of eyeballing this gold trade. We'll see if we get a little bit of love. It looks like we're basing out right around that 33.90 zone. We'll see if we get a little bit of love and kick that back up to about 34.20-ish. I think it's very possible. For the rest of the session, though, slightly bullish. Everybody's watching Israel, Iran. Very, very simple, guys. If you see a peace deal, you'll see crude oil and gold plummet. If you don't see a peace deal, you'll see crude oil and gold go up. And that's really the long and short of it. Right now, I'm not going to speculate too much about escalation. It looks like it's escalating. That's a wrap. You guys have a fantastic trading session. Trade the action well, and we'll talk soon. See ya.